All right, let's see what the heck is going on here. Colin, where are you at, man? Are you here?
Nope,
No, you're not
nobody
here.
here. No, not here. No, I want to be somewhere else, not here. Why would I want to be here? I mean, whose company is this anyway? Oh, wait. Oh, man. At least this time we're not in the bathroom.
At least we're not in the bathroom this time. So, I want to welcome everyone to State of the Sim. This is where we get together and talk about the things you really care about. Quick disclaimer, there may be some nudity and adult language. Broadcast may not be suitable for young viewers. Viewer discretion advised. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I know looking at social media, a lot of people are really curious what's going on with a lot of the add-ons that we have promised, and we're going to be getting around to a lot of that today and showing off a lot of cool stuff and giving some updates. So, Colin, I'm going to turn it over to you. And
What?
what are we doing today?
Oh, I don't want to do anything. I'm going to go back to bed. Okay, so hi, everybody. As you may know, I am Crazy Colin, and I run Blackbird. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to show you today. We're going to start with the product that is nearest to completion. It's one that the U.S. Air Force uses as its main starter trainer. It's the T6A. First off, I'd like to say to everybody, yeah, it's been a while since we've done a State of the Sim. I think the last one was in February. Yeah, we're going to be trying to do these quarterly, so 4 times a year, every 3 months or so. So that we can keep in touch with y'all and everything. Yeah,
All right, so we
I think it's an
are.
airplane.
It is an airplane. We are in the T6. Let me see if I can get my head tracker on here. There we go. See if we can
All
look
right.
around here a little bit.
So here's the thing. We need to first preface this with this is a work in progress. We are not yet done. There's a lot that still needs to be done in here. Well, a lot. There's some stuff that needs to be done. We expect to be able to get this out the door in fairly short order. The manual is done. What are you doing?
Show on the back seat.
The GPS is done. You will be able to fly from the back seat, but obviously it's preferred to fly from the front seat. And so, just for reference, this is the T6A that is used by the United States Air Force to train its pilots. That would be initial pilots. So yeah, it's got a PT6A in it, which is a turboprop. We have a lot of experience with that type of thing. This uses ADV, which is the advanced version of our external flight profile system. This gives us way, 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 way better results in our methodology for flight. You can plainly see also as well, if you go back to the underside of that aircraft, you'll see just how detailed this is looking. I mean, it is fantastic. We are really happy with the modeling that was done on this and the texturing. It's really, really incredible looking. Uh, so the GPS is fully functional. It is not going to be some half-assed kind of system. It works as it should, with one or two potential caveats, and that is, when we are doing mapping, because we do not have access to the data streams that are internal to the aircraft on data cards, those that if it's in this aircraft, and I'm not 100% sure that it is, I know it's in the T6B, that will be the system that is used internally to MSFS. So all of this piping is boned, so when the gear compresses and extends, the pipes will compress and extend as well. You can actually hear the fuel flowing through the pipes in this aircraft. Hold on. Let's take a listen. Shh. Oh, crap. That's me making that noise. Oh, well. Sorry, Scott. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I apologize. There's going to be a near full set of failures on this aircraft as well. So if you screw up and hit the ground too hard, you can lose a gear. There's going to be fire. And we've got some pretty nice fire effects. I think D is going to try and crash this plane.
I am going to try and crash it. It might be difficult to crash, but I will try.
Yeah. Well, at least if it was me flying, it would be super easy because I am notorious for not being. I'm able to get off the ground, getting back on the ground without, yeah. I am the guy who that statement that says what is it? Any landing you can walk away from is a good. Yeah. I never am able to walk. I'm crawling. So this aircraft is really, really nice. Yeah, we will have the military pilot in play here rather than the civilian ones. I'm not sure we're going to allow that as an option, and the reason is that it is a military aircraft. It is not used in the civilian world. D, you're going to get off the ground?
But I was going to say, we do have civilian repaints, I think, for this, right? Like the Blackbird repaint, for example.
Yeah, okay. So but those aren't really civilian. We have some special liveries that we're going to be offering for those who buy direct from us and not from, other sources. Yeah. We haven't decided on a price point, but it will be under $40. That's pretty much for sure. The mill pilot show by default. D, my God, what the hell are you doing?
The winds are up on here, I think. No, let me take a look at that. No, the winds are not up. I don't know what happened there. I should remind everyone this is still a work in progress, so you may notice there may be certain things not working or fully functional. Just keep in mind there's still a bit more to do here. Yep. So don't hold it against us if you see something not working at this time. However, it will be functional by the time the aircraft is released. I'll also note the GPS unit that you see here is fully operative. So we worked very closely with Navigraph to get all of the information in there. So your favorite home airport or aerodrome or airstrip is there, and if it's not there, you can also go in and put in or input all of your own VORs, airports. You can make one up if you want. It's a fully operative GPS system, and we will have information on how to use that at some point coming up as we near release.
So yeah, we have a manual for the GPS, and we will be releasing that manual and the actual aircraft manual as soon as we get an approval. It is to be noted that this aircraft is in use again by the Air Force as a training tool, this product, for the P3D version of it. So what we've done is we've enhanced the physical model, the 3D model, and we've taken it into MSFS. Now there are some differences. Actually, there's a lot of differences between the way Microsoft and P3D work. And those differences are things that we can't really fix, unfortunately. So we're kind of stuck with some of the things that happen here. Nonetheless, this is using an external flight profile, which means all the things that the real aircraft can and cannot do in the real world, this one can and cannot do in the simulator. And we're getting excellent frame rates on like a base system with a 3090 or even a 2090 and an i5 to i7. We're getting about 40 to 50 frames per second at a busy airport. So ADV is the external flight profile system that we use. So a lot of our military based products, so like the D30, this aircraft, the T-38s, those use ADV. The SR-71 will be using ADV as well. And that is basically an enhanced failures and flight profile system that works externally to override the existing system within the simulator. Can you use the publicly available manual for the GPS? The answer to that is yes, but with caveats. And those caveats are there are definitely things inside the simulator that prevent us from doing so exactly. Anything to do with mapping, that's unlikely because we don't have access to the maps inside the simulator. All right, so I think we're ready to move to the next one. We need to move on, Dee. So start loading the next aircraft, and let's show the pictures of the liveries.
Yeah, there's one more thing I want to show here. I'm actually right on the. I'm just gonna try to land it here real quickly.
Okay,
We
sure.
promised we would try to crash it, so
Oh, that's right, we did.
I'm gonna put the flaps up here. Here we go.
D, if I
Oh no, it didn't do it. Oh no, there it goes. There it goes. How fun is that? I thought this part was really fun. What are we going on to next?
we're going to show the liveries for the 310.
310 liveries. Okay, 310 liveries are up.
Yep. So it is our intention to release another product of liveries for the C310R. It will be a paid thing, exactly like the Corsair, and then we're probably going to do one for the Porter as well. And they will be inexpensive, easy to use, easy to install, and as you can see, very, very pretty. And yeah, so one of the things that that we get asked a lot is, why aren't you working on this product? Why aren't you working on that product? Why? And the reason is we are working on all of them. The only time that we are not working on any of the announced products is when we can't because we get a contract from an outside source. And those always take precedence because we have delivery dates that are, written in the contract. So we do have a team of about 30 people, 30 plus people, not including model devs, model and paint people and or administrators. And those people are, actively developing our product line. So, we have people who are working on the D30. We have people who are working on the. We have people who are working on, other things that we're not prepared to talk about yet. We have other people who are doing, stuff. They're all working. 732. Yes, that is still going. We were going to show some pictures, but we decided that it's not quite ready for prime time. It's close, but not quite ready for showing those types of things yet. But everything is ongoing. So let's briefly talk about the SR and what its status is. So it is in high dev, and that is, ongoing. The model is done. It's prepped. We're looking at how we're going to do unstarts. And the main reason we decided to go with ADV for this particular project is because of the way this aircraft flies and, the fact that unstarts are absolutely 100% not part of the MSFS flight profile system. So we decided to go with ADV. This will allow us to do all kinds of things that you would not normally be able to do in the flight sim. And we are planning on, having refueling, which is the main reason that many, I think it was like 80% of the pilots who flew this aircraft, who tried to fly it, washed out. So the 732 is in production. We have some code that's being done. We've got a full sound set recorded from the Lunar aircraft. We are not at this time planning on doing an FMS, nor are we planning on doing the revamped version that's got the very simplistic screens. The reason for that is we don't have a manual. I mean, we could get a manual for the UNS-1, that's fine, but we don't have a manual for the revised birds. We just don't have it. And so it is not our intention to do that. We're going all analog on this and no FMS. That is the plan at this time. The model is nearly done. The code is ongoing, so we're pressing ahead. No delivery date yet to be announced. Next, the MH60. So let's talk briefly about the MH60 and what we're planning on doing with that. The model is done. It looks great. But after we finished doing the model, we then realized that we don't actually have a manual for the mission display and CDU system. And then we further found out that not only is it classified, it's not in use anymore, and that's a Block 1. We had a model for the Block 3, which is, got an actual normal CDU, but that one's even more classified. And so, short version, we can't do it. So what we've decided to do instead is we're going to Shrikeify it, and we're going to put most of the systems in and the functionality in terms of everything but the CDU and the mission display system. So what does that mean? It basically means it'll be fairly simplified, Shrike level. Not, at the same level that we would want to do it if we were doing it as a Blackbird product, which is, kind of sad because it really does look the part. It will have some weapon systems. They will not be functional, at least not at this time. And we will absolutely, at some point, release a weapons pack for it so that people who buy it from the marketplace, but not on the Xbox, can get weapons. At least that's the intention. So when is that going to come out? Again, we're not prepared to give a delivery date on that. Dee, how's the SR coming? Is it loaded?
She's ready.
All right, show her up. Let's go. Okay, so as you can see, the SR is in sim. I think we may have shown a slightly older version of this aircraft in the simulator before. This is the finished model. It's finished. So what's left to do here is all the external bits and bobs, like the stairs and the hemi carts. Those are the two big ass engines that were used to start this aircraft, and a fuel truck, and the hoses, and the pilots, which are not yet done, but we have the pilots modeled but not yet painted. The intention here is to supply all 31 liveries, the 31 aircraft, a livery for each one. We're not supplying every single livery. We're only supplying 31. That's at this time. And it's going to be ADV. It's going to be really, really cool. I can't wait to fly this thing. I don't know if I'll be able to land it because it was notoriously difficult to land, especially in a crosswind. But man, I love this aircraft. I love it. You want to show us the go over the top, do a little flyover of the top. Woohoo! So exciting. So I actually, at Robbins Air Force Base, I actually walked on one of these. I walked on and sat in the cockpit and sat in the back seat and walked on it. I left my footprints on it. I did. I left my footprints on it. I was like, hey, nobody's looking. Yeah. So one of the guys at the museum was a crew chief, an ex-crew chief of this particular of the particular bird that I was walking on. And he was like, make sure you take your shoes off. I'm like, oh yeah, no, my shoes are off. But he couldn't see me. He couldn't see me on top of the plane, right? So and the strange part about this story is that 2 days after we did this, we they put it up on sticks. So and they welded the cockpit shut, so you can't get in. Hold on a second. Merlin is sending me a message.
Uh-oh, did I miss it? Okay.
It says, what are the chances the SR-71 releases in 2024? I would say pretty good, but I'm not going to make any promises. Here's what we've decided. We've decided that it is, we have two choices. We can make aircraft quickly and do them okay, or we can make aircraft really well and release them when they're ready. And, as time has gone on, we have increasingly sided with we're going to do it when it's ready. And that's what we're doing with this. So Shrikes are the products that will be released, and they'll be nice, but they're lower end, right? And these ones are not Shrike. These ones are, we're going to do the best that we can to make this aircraft the way it should be. And that means it takes time. And, and it requires a great deal of involvement with the flight profile people and with the developers and the sound people. And, it takes time. It takes effort. Now, okay, Deke, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at no, right there is good. Right there is good. Just go a little bit more forward and then straighten out your view so we can see the screws.
Oh, the screws. Here,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so on the SR-71, there were 3 types of screws. So you can see 2 of them there. If you head for the wings, you'll be able to see the 3rd kind, which is a kind of a weird Torx screw.
This one?
There. I think that's it. So zoom in a little bit more. Nope, it's not that one. Back up a little bit, like the big one there. See the big one? There was a big one in between the spaces. Anyway, we have
to go on this side where there's no shadow. Maybe it's kind of hard to see.
Right. Nope.
No.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Anyway, the idea here is that we really, really, really went into detail on this. And that's one of the reasons why we are not willing to give a due date. I think those are them.
Yeah, these are 2 different types of screws.
Right. So the ones that are in the middle are special Torx screws where the actual cross, the star, is offset, and that I have no idea why they did it. Probably so that they could get more torque out of it. But yeah, so we really went into detail. This aircraft model, the paint, everything is pretty much 1-to-1, and it. I sat in one of these. I sat in it, and yeah, when you see the inside of the cockpit, can you switch to the cockpit view now?
I can. Give me 1 second. Got to find the right button. There we go.
When you're sitting in this, it is like being in the real thing. It is small. It is cramped. It's kind of big where your arms and your legs are, but it is tiny where your head is. So with the cockpit open, it's like a normal aircraft, but as soon as the cockpit is closed, your head is pretty much stuck. Like you can move forward and back a little bit, but not a lot. And yeah, you have to, so you can look up through that periscope, which unfortunately is not going to work in this because Flight Sim doesn't allow rear facing or any kind of facing cameras. So we can't put a view in there, unfortunately, which is kind of a drag. But we will have the laser light system, and that's pretty cool. That's for tilting, right? So you can tell, so you don't get vertigo. And it will be able to fly to 87,000 feet, give or take. You could probably fly it into space. You wouldn't get back, but you could probably fly it into space, right? The intention here with this aircraft, though, is to make everything that works in the real one, with one exception, work like work in the sim. So that exception is the map. And that's a problem because we don't have access to the map. So we're still not sure how we're going to deal with this. Probably what we're going to do is we're just going to throw the regular mapping system in there and allow you to use that. The rear seat is not going to be operative. There's a lot of stuff in here, even though we've got it shown, that's classified, and so we don't know actually how it functions. So it's not going to be operative. We do have ideas? Oh, good. Okay. Jim says we have ideas. Ideas. I love ideas. I do. That's cute. I love that. That's great. I love the, having ideas is great. So Jim Stewart is our dev, and he's our lead MSFS go-to guy. And he is the expert on having ideas. So yay, Jim. Okay. So the AI feature is definitely going to be in there. And that's the main reason why we are in-opping the back seat. So the plan here is to allow you to have the back seat so you can see it. But the AI will be the AI, and that's perhaps too strong of a word. It will be, activated, and you'll be able to communicate with the rear seater. Now, what we did is we went and we interviewed Brian Scholl and his rear seater, whose name eludes me at this moment. I apologize. Before he died, and we actually had them go through a full startup and a full mission, basically. So you will be able to get them to do what's needed to be done, and you can plainly see that this projector peripheral vision display system, that's actually what is in the aircraft that I sat in. I took pictures of that, and so the AI system is going to be functional, so you'll be able to get the rear seater to set up your INS. Although realistically, all of that stuff was, the engines were started, the whole aircraft was prepped for takeoff prior to the pilots even getting in, right? So the plane was running while they were getting in. That was usually the way it was done, because the suits were very, very uncomfortable, and sitting inside the suit, inside an aircraft while you're waiting for the INS to set up and the Starfield thing to set up. Those things took a long time. The INS took anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on where you were. So you didn't want to be sitting inside that aircraft for an hour. That's the plan, is to have the AI system still ongoing. So unfortunately, at this time, we can't fly this aircraft. The system's avionics are being done. So I believe switchology is probably about 60%, 70%. The ADV has started, the flight profile and the failure system. We're not sure how long that's going to take because no one's ever done an SR simulator to the extent that we are doing. Even the SR simulator that they used to train the pilots to fly this aircraft wouldn't do a real actual unstart. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Our guys are real excited about this, though. Our people are real excited, and yeah, it's going to be a great product when it releases. When I raise my hands up and I go, I have no idea, but I hope it's soon because I too want to fly this. I really, 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 really do. And yeah, so D, you can shut this down.
Yeah.
And move to the pictures of the D30. Okay, so the D30, the pictures that you're looking at are work in progress. So that means it's not yet complete. What is not completed? So the model is completed. The paint is completed. We're still working on liveries, and we're still trying to work out how we're going to have cargo delivered and or dropped along with paratroopers, and whether we're just gonna fake that and have the load diminish as cargo or troopers are jumping off or released. It is our intention to have CARP, which is the low-level release system. COPE as well. It is our intention to have that. I'm not sure what that does, but it is our intention to have it. So it is our intention to release this, hopefully, sooner rather than later, because essentially what we're doing is we're injecting this. So what does that mean? I think we've talked about this briefly before, but I'm going to bring it up again and go through it. So the idea here is that because so many of the systems are not possible to work inside MSFS as it stands now, we decided that we would inject it. Much like Phoenix does with their aircraft, with I think it's the 3 whatever it is, the Airbus. So what does this mean? It means it's not going to be available on the marketplace. It absolutely will not, unfortunately. So and that of course means not on the Xbox either. So you will be able to get it directly from us, and potentially from our other vendor, no names mentioned, but likely just from us. What systems will it have? Will it have a fully functioning CNIMU? The answer is yes. Will it have a fully functional electronic circuit breaker system? The answer is yes. Will you be able to have a shared cockpit? The answer is no. And the reason for that is because MSFS doesn't allow for it, at least not yet. When it does, we will look at implementing it. Will it have the CISO station? Will we be doing an ACJ? The answer to those two questions are the CISO station. We will have 3 different versions, one with a kind of sort of unclassified CISO station. We will have one with just a bunk bed and a seat for an instructor, basically, and another one that is an instructor's seat. And those will all be functionally inoperative. They will be mirrors of the pilot's seat. We will have fully functional and I believe collimated HUDs for both of the pilot and the co-pilot. So you will be able to fly it as a co-pilot, or you will be able to fly it as a pilot. It's not at the same time. We will have, the whole fuel system that's in there. And all this stuff is already done. So what we're doing now is we're setting up the injection system so that it works 100% and all of the time, not just 100%, but also all of the time inside the simulator. And that is a little bit difficult, but I think we've managed to get it in. As you can plainly see, the screens are actually showing what is happening in the aircraft. Those are not retouched. Those are as is in the simulator. We're just not prepared to show it yet in the simulator because there are some minor bugs with how it's functioning. But yeah, when will it release? Again, when it's ready. Okay, so let's talk about the T-38 before we switch to the last thing. So the T-38s are they're in they're in the pipeline. We have the models, as you saw. The models are nearing completion in terms of paint. We expect to have them sometime in the very early new year, at which point we will start moving on transporting the code and making the decision as to whether or not we're going to use an injection system, which allows us to, do a straight port from the one that is in use by the Air Force, or whether we're going to, change up the code. That decision has not yet been made. We'll be making that early in the new year. The F-15C and shortly thereafter the F-15E, those are in process. The models are nearly done. We're looking at another couple of months. And once they are done, then the code porting, recoding part should happen relatively quickly for the F-15C because it's not all that of a complex aircraft. And then we have to do sound and the manuals, blah, 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 blah. So hopefully 2024, but again, no promises on the delivery dates. Then we've got the F-15E. We have no idea. The F-16, we decided to redo the model from scratch. And the reason is it was pretty good. But with the competition from the other F-16, we decided we needed to go whole hog. So we're going whole hog. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this the last time. The lead coder on that is one of the BMS guys. So it's going to be what it's supposed to be. There isn't going to be any funny stuff other than, of course, the maps and the weapons. We're still looking at making our own weapon system, but it's an ongoing process, and we're not sure whether Microsoft is going to allow us to do that or not. We'll have to see down the line. Oh, yes, the Otter! Yay! Okay, let's talk about the Otter. I love the Otter. It's so cool. So modeling for the external and for the cockpit are now done. Paint is ongoing. We expect to have that done 3 to 4 months down the line. It's going to be so cool. Wait till you see this.
It's in the simulator, but we just decided we don't want to show it just yet. We want to finesse it a little bit more before we show it. So that's why you're not seeing that today.
The external model got approved yesterday, so it's not ready for prime time. And we do intend to move ahead a pace. So the Otter is looking great. Yes, we are doing the Totter, the Turbo Otter. I call it the Totter. We're doing both of them. It's going to be so cool. Okay, so let's talk about the Sabre. The Sabre the model is done. The paint is done. The UH-1H. When it's done, the developer, who is Jim Stewart, he will be moving to the Sabre, and that will be done. We have a guy looking at the flight profile and the systems, the engine systems. This will not be an ADD product, and it will not be a clone from P3D FSX. It's a straight up new development, new code, and it's, oh my God, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Everything we do is pretty now. It's so cool. Okay. When will it be released? I have no idea. When it's ready. Stop asking. The Bone. All right. So the Bone, that's a tough one because, the Bone is going to be, Bone model is pretty much done. The paint is pretty much done. It looks great. There's some minor discrepancies and stuff that needs to be fixed. For the code, there's a lot of systems on the Bone that are classified. So we have to be careful. And what does that mean? It means everything in the back seats, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not even modeling it. So there's going to be a curtain that blocks you off from the back seats. So you can't actually even go in there. I mean, you could, but you'd be going through empty space, and there's nothing. So it is our intention at this time, and I do stress, at this time, the decision has not 100% been made as to whether or not we're going to have, a functional DSO, functional EWO AI for those two seats. We have not decided on how we're going to approach that. Now, it does need to be said that in the real bird, it is not actually possible to launch weapons from the front seats. The decision has not yet been made whether or not we're going to strikeify this aircraft or not, because a lot of the systems in it are classified. I want to make it fun. We definitely want it to be fun. We want it to be realistic too. I mean, I want to make it realistic. But in order to do so, we're going to have to fuck around with some of the systems in order to make it function in the simulator. What does that mean? It means that the whole setup of how the radar works and the TFR, the terrain following radar, and a lot of those systems, we're going to have to avoid doing them. Now, the terrain following radar has actually been in-opt in the real aircraft for pretty good reasons. The wings have a tendency to fall off at speed, so you don't want to use the TFR. I do want to have this aircraft so that you can, open all three bomb bays and drop a bunch, like a whole bunch of, Mark 82s. That would be so cool, right? I mean, come on, who's not going to like that, right? We're going to allow that, but it does mean finagling the front seats a little bit and the systems therein, right? So that you can actually do that yourself without having to say prep for bomb drop, and then the people in back do the actual bomb drop. That's not as much fun as doing it yourself, right? So we haven't quite decided on how we're going to move forward with that. Code has not yet begun on that. We just got the model. It's like there's final touches being done on it. As soon as the D30 crew is done, that's what they're moving to, is the bone. So next year, maybe. Who knows when it's ready? Okay, so are you ready to load up the last show and tell? Do we have
We're
anything
ready.
else that we want about? I think that's it.
And
okay,
I guess we can bring in Jim now.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Jim.
I'll just unmute myself. I've been here the whole time. Just
yeah, no, we know, but nobody else knew.
Why is this in the middle of why is that in the middle of a field? That I put that in the wrong place, Lordy.
That's quite an airport you got there.
It's supposed to be in the middle of a field, and
well, it is.
Is it safe to slew this somewhere else, Jim? Can I do that?
No, load it somewhere else. I wouldn't try slewing it at this point.
All right, we'll just leave her here then.
Yeah, leave it there. If you run into those fuel tanks, not a big
what's
deal,
the worst that could happen? So Jim is the lead developer on this project, Jim. So
I do notice that you are clipped right into the fuel tanks that you are loaded on, and that's kind of sad. So maybe you should go load it somewhere else so you're not. Or just do that. Hey, it worked.
Let's
good.
See if that
Nothing
works.
Blew up. Awesome. So this is the UH-1H you're looking at here. We are, everything you see here is still work in progress. However, DeAndre will start it up and take it for a flight. Again, we, as Colin has been very careful, we do not promise a date on this. It is getting close, but it's when it's ready. We are doing a full custom flight model on this. This is not utilizing default simulator behavior. As such, it is extremely intended to be extremely realistic in its behavior and operation and engine response and flight capabilities. Things like retreating blade stall, vortex ring state, auto rotations, translational tendencies, everything like that is intended to be in play. Colin, you could perhaps speak to the origin of the flight model. I'm not sure if you want to, but it has some definite vetting behind it.
Right. So the ADV for this bird, we need to change that right there.
Yeah. Don't focus in on that.
Yeah. The origins of the ADV for this aircraft come from our work with the Air Force on the TH-1H, which is the updated version of this helicopter. So the UH-1H was being used with the Air Force for a long time, and then they stopped using it, and they put them into storage, and they wrapped them up in plastic and whatever. And then somebody came up with the bright idea that if you stuck a new engine and a new revised tail rotor system like what's on the N and put the radar that's in the N in there, you would have a fairly good trainer aircraft for a very inexpensive amount of money. So for about $3 million, you could take an old UH-1H, turn it into a TH, and all glass systems. You could turn it into a TH-1H, and it would take about 6 weeks and $3 million. And so the decision was made, hell, let's do that. So Novacell, ex-Fort Rucker, is the only base that has these. But the Air Force, the last I heard, the Air Force is intending to propagate these aircraft around for a variety of purposes. So the Air Force is, the product that we sold them, the TH-1H ADV MPMR, is using the present ADV system that is being used in this aircraft. Now, we have had to make some modifications to it.
Slight interruption. De-release the throttle trigger. There you go. Perfect. And
so
then,
the ADV...
then start to idle it up slowly. Once you could probably wait until rotor RPM climbs to a stable rate around. You've got a little ways to go. But watch the rotor RPM. But yeah, once it reaches its idle point, then you can start increasing RPM to full idle. Sorry to interrupt, Colin, but continue on.
So the TH-1H ADV is the same one as we're using here. We had to change some of the ways that it operates, for ground interaction, and that's one of the main things that we're still working on. Ground interaction in MSFS is, sorry to say, I'm throwing you guys under the bus, but it is totally borked. It's totally borked. Asobo, I don't know why they did it the way they did it.
We should put a caveat in that, because if you're using the flight sim flight model, that's what their ground interaction is intended to work with. But we're not, because we're going above and beyond that. So we have to cooperate with their ground model. And they're not really designed to cooperate. The two coexist very well.
No, I don't want. Anyway.
I need to throw in a quick disclaimer. We do not have the sounds. They're still in progress. Jim, do you want to touch on that just really briefly?
They're still work in progress. We're currently iterating through the flight model with people who are existing active pilots, guys that are flying it commercially or for firefighting service. So even before we open this up to all of our testers, we're currently working primarily on the flight model to perfect the feel of the, in regards to the information we've gotten from these guys that are flying them for their job, right? So.
Yeah. Plus,
At this point,
you know,
we're not sounds. Sounds are something that they're in progress. They're just not in this build. There'll be a lot to explore.
yeah,
We fully plan on having lots of stuff for lots of options, lots of configuration details. It should be noted that this will be complete with a good number of failures. The intent is to fully model this helicopter. We're going to
yeah.
be
So
able
it's
to,
an
yeah,
it's an ADV product, right? It's advanced. So it's a Blackbird simulation. It is going to be, you know, yeah, like the real. So if you fly, you'll be able to fly this. So yeah, this is it is, you know, you are not seeing the full beauty of this aircraft yet, but it is pretty awesome.
and
So
it
we have a
should, we shouldn't have an issue with this on all platforms. So I saw a question in the chat. There seems to be a idea that our models with a custom flight model um, are not going to work on Xbox, right?
That's not
And
true. They
that's
will
not
work.
true. They will work.
They will
Uh,
work. The only
it's
reason
possible
the
to have
D
a custom flight model without having an external program. When we say
right.
external flight model, it's just externally coded and not native using the simulator's model.
Right. So the reason the D30 is not going to work on the Xbox or be sold on the marketplace is not because of the flight model. It's because everything, all of those screens and the CNIMU and all that stuff, it's a pretty good solid requirement that it be multi-threaded or it will not work as it's supposed to. You know, because all those screens and yeah, so yeah, it's a lot.
I was gonna also note some might notice like the ball isn't working. This is still a work in progress,
Yeah,
so
the
some
slips.
things may
Yep.
not look perfect.
There's some stuff on there that is definitely work in progress. Um,
Oh, I forgot about the skid. Hang on. Let's try that again. Hang on. There we go. That's
I
better.
like the fact that you're landing this in a tall grass field where you're not going to be able to see much of the underbelly. Sharp-eyed people will also note, if you know your UH-1 history at all, um, there are some, it's our plan to have some various configuration capabilities in here on what's going to be present, what's not going to be present. It's our intention with this to model a fairly early era UH-1H. And so there are some bits and pieces on the outside that might not be typical in that era, and we're going to allow the users to hide and show bits, to customize what they want for the paint job they might want to have. So if you see something that looks like it's out of place and it's like, oh my gosh, they wouldn't have had that back then, you're absolutely correct. And we will have the ability to hide and show bits as, make it fun, make it configurable.
And we're putting for the non-marketplace Xbox versions, we're putting weapons on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so that's going to be cool too. D, can you land this thing on a blank spot so that we can take a close look around
Sure.
the external, please? Thanks. And you can shut it down as well. Can it be shut down at this point, Jim?
Oh sure, you can shut it down. You can idle. You can idle it down. Idle the fuel cutoff right down.
Let's see. Hopefully, this little area over here, the grass isn't too high.
Yeah. DeAndre didn't exactly do procedures by the book starting it up, so don't necessarily have to be a stickler by procedures to shut it down either,
Where
right?
does this thick ass grass come from? I don't think I can put it here either. Let me go closer to the water.
That's what you
These,
get
like,
for flying
sandbars.
somewhere remote.
Let's see. Let's try one of these like little sandbars over here.
I got to applaud your flying capability from a weird camera perspective. I'm not sure I'd be so successful there.
There we go. Okay, let me take a look at the. Let me grab the Xbox controller here. Take a look around.
I saw a question. The rotating beacon. The external lighting is not present at the moment, but it will be fully complete, of course, for release.
And yes, we know we have the reds, the RBF on the pitot tubes. We know it. So the rotors are not fully completed yet, so ignore that for the moment, please.
We're doing some, there's some work in progress on some of the animations for the rotor assembly because it's a very exposed and complex mechanism.
Dee, can you change the lighting so that we're getting it from the left or from the right, but not from the back, please?
Let's see. Where do you want it? Where do you want it?
Just so
it's
not quite
to like
right.
summer lighting, but
just lift off and turn it around.
You want it from
lift
the front,
or just take a look at it from the other side.
I want it from the back.
There you go.
There.
There
That's
you go.
Brilliant, right there. That's brilliant. That? Okay, now go close.
Yeah, we don't have that flat lighting from FSX anymore. Everything is.
I know. Yeah, you can go up the side too, up the wall. Yep. So we obviously really went to town on this. We really want to make it nice, right? So yeah, it's really pretty. It is. It's really pretty. And it will sound like a which is, obvious, like a UH-18.
There you go. There.
Where's the click spot?
It's towards the back of the door. The handle is at the rear of the door. The armor plates get in the way. We will have we have both the original armored seats as well as later model non-armored seats. You can slide the rear doors open as well, just so people can see the goodies. That's there you go. Yeah.
So it is our intention for the UH-1H to have a high skid civilian version, as well as a low skid civilian version. So and a bunch of liveries. The details on this are impressive.
They look nice.
It's a good looking aircraft.
With this aircraft, with this version of it, we really want to enforce the idea of being kind of era appropriate, and a tablet just isn't quite the right feel, right? So we wanted to go with more of a paper option. So DeAndre, why don't you bring up that book there? You can click on the cover there. Why is it not high?
There's
different click spots. You just stow it in the back. You click on the spine. There you go.
There she is.
There it is.
There we go.
Click on the cover to open it. There you go. So it is our option still to have a configuration. Click on any of those if you like. Yeah, they're not fleshed out like we've said. It's highly work in progress, but you will have a configuration capabilities for your loadout, your status of components, toggle on and off failures. You'll be able to stow the book in various locations. So yeah, it's kind of fun. I like fun.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So this is going to be a really, it's going to be the. Will it be better than the one that's in DCS? Of course it will.
That's absolutely my plan.
Yeah.
D, since you're on the ground, cut the fuel for a second. Just turn that fuel switch off. That's the easiest way to cause a bunch of lights to come on. There you go. Some lights will come on. More will come on immediately as the rotor spins down. But zoom in a little bit on those lights.
On the annunciators.
On the caution panel there. There you go. Yeah, we want to see that some close up. I don't want
to show what you're going to show.
You don't want to show that?
You don't want to show that?
No, I don't. Don't give it away.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't give it away.
Needless to say,
don't
All right.
Give it away. Move away.
No one's going to know it's there. A lot of UH-1 pilots don't even know that that's there, right?
It will be in the manual. Back away.
Nobody reads that shit.
Needless to say, mechanically, this is been modeled very accurately. There's going to be a lot of personalization aspects in that, options that persist through sim sessions. So things like the radios being tuned already, if DeAndre tuned a station, it would persist to the next time you load up the helicopter. That same station's going to be tuned on the radio. And there's going to be a lot of things like that are persist from session to session of your simulator use.
Right now, we're just concentrating on getting it done, right? So Jim is working on this all the time. He is just working on it. And the flight profile people are still, everybody is active on all of the projects. Everybody. Like, we have everybody with you. We have a plan, right? And the plan is being followed as much as it can be. But, it is our intention to provide options, right?
That's right.
That's what we're doing, is going to provide options. So you'll be able to fly without the doors. You'll be able to fly with the doors. A bunch of different kind of guns, medical maybe, and all kinds of other, nifty details will be added. We're going to put some Easter eggs in there. We will have, as I said, the switch. And,
A question has been asked if it's going to be Xbox compatible. And yes, I'll repeat that. That is definitely an intent. There's no reason why it would not be. So. Yeah.
So, but again, to be clear, any weapons or weapons technology will not be on the marketplace or on the Xbox. So this particular version of the Bird has the gun sight. It's unfolded at this time. It's folded up at this time, but it will be, operational, and it'll have a reticle, and you'll be able to, shoot the rockets and shoot the guns. Whether or not they do anything, we'll see. But you'll be able to shoot them. So I think that's it for the. We'll take some Q&A now. If anybody has questions, we'll take some. And Deke will bring us the answer to the question about, are there other sceneries on the horizon? The answer is yes. Demas is actively working on one, and we've asked him to do another one after that. So he is working on them, but it is slow going because he's not full-time, he's part-time. So when will it be ready? We don't know. That said, we do have the intention of doing KBAB as it would have been when the SRs were stationed there. And so that is 90% done. I think he just has a couple of minor things to do. So the intention is to release them as a bundle.
As a 1970s era.
Yeah, exactly. The intention is to release it as a bundle, and also to release them separately. So for those who have zero interest in, the SR-71, if you exist, I don't want to meet you because I might want to hurt you. How can you not like the SR? It's iconic. But they'll be released separately as well. So you can either get them together or not. It will be up to you. Is there another question? I think it is our intention to do the Zero as a Blackbird fully modeled, fully functional, with everything that the Zero had, including, up to and including the, I believe they were 12.7 millimeter guns, right in front of you. You'll be able to charge them. You'll be able to fire them. It'll shake your aircraft apart. And of course, for those who are on the marketplace on Xbox, you won't have those, unfortunately. It's written in Japanese. We're looking to find a way to do, English translations of those, but
I'm going to use my famous term. We've got ideas.
We've got ideas. We've got ideas on how to go about doing this.
In absolute, it's definitely not only was ergonomics not something thought of back in that day, but I sure wouldn't want to put my fingers in the wrong place in that aircraft. Everything is there. Every linkage and cable and pulley and everything and chain and sprocket, it's all in there. And
it's all right there.
Oh my gosh, it's just the amount of detail is just incredible. It's definitely poses a challenge because there's so much going on when you do the simplest of stick movements or trim movements or anything. It's interesting.
If you are an expert on the Zero, please reach out to us, info@blackbirdsims.com. Please, because we absolutely are looking for experts. SMEs, subject matter experts, are very few and far between. There's a lot in Japan, but they don't want to talk to us. Okay, how is the sound pack for the SR-71 going to work? Do you have access to a museum willing to start that bird up for you? Well, the answer to that question would be there are no startable SR-71s in existence today. They don't have the fuel, number one. Number two,
well, the engines wouldn't work even if,
Yeah, the engines are all locked up, and there's none of the systems are functional. I would go so far as to say that if you tried to start one up, you should probably be really, really far away from it, as it might blow up. So how are we going to do it? Well, that's a really good question. We're going to use the Phantoms engines because they're exactly the same. That was a joke. We're not. We're going to figure out something. We have some recordings that we can use. We do know that it was really, really, truly loud, though not as loud as a Thunderstrike, which was, super, super mega loud. So we'll figure it out. We have ideas, to use Jim's, favorite statement. We have ideas. We're going to figure it out. Will it sound like an SR? We're pretty sure. Will there be carrier functions on the Zero? Yes, there will be. What those carrier functions are? Well, it didn't use a catapult, so, it will take off. Will it land? Yes. Will the tail hook be functional? Yes. I think that wraps it up for us, right? Are we good to go? We thank you for your time, and we thank you for showing up, and we thank you for your loyalty, and So have a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays if you're not a Christian, and that's totally fine.
Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy I don't celebrate holidays to you folks as well.
We are on vacation as of yesterday until the 4th of January. So if you reach out to us and don't get a response, that's because we're not around. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for your loyalty. We love you.
We love you.
All of you.
We
love you. I love you too, Dee. Okay. That's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, everyone.
Later.
We will see you in the new year.
Yeah. See you in the new year. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.